Well, I want to thank everyone for coming today, and this is, luckily for Albuquerque, for 35 years, this is an annual occasion, and so we're here to celebrate the Gathering of Nations and also to proclaim next week Gathering of Nations Week. So we'll do the formalities in a minute, but just to share a few thoughts. First, I want to acknowledge the Matthews family for working on this for 35 years and for sticking with Albuquerque. So, I've, of course, been I've noticed and paid attention to the ups and downs of venues and this and that. I've actually been to the Gathering of Nations at least a handful of times. I went to the one outdoor one, I think. There's only been one, right? Yeah. And, it worked out, but, I can understand. And then I've been to some, I think at each venue. And I also want to recognize, being the state senator from the International District, which that community has one of the highest percentages of Native Americans in an urban area in our state, if not the highest. And so I do think that it's actually great that we're in Expo New Mexico. And so I know Expo team is here, and our checkered past of going back and forth between my love and opposite of Expo New Mexico, we won't talk about today, because I am so glad that the venue is still a great place to have events, whether it's Gladiators football or whether it's the Gathering of Nations. And I do really appreciate the current management team has done a great job with Expo New Mexico. So Dan Morning and your team, I want to thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and now as mayor, the fun thing, the unfortunate thing is it's not part of the city technically, but we're claiming it from here on out. So that's right. And we believe in one Albuquerque, which is something that folks are going to hear, I think, a lot from us. We weave this into whether it's crime fighting or whether it's dealing with council, but we truly believe that from a citizen's perspective, no one really cares about the political boundaries or the city council districts or county versus city or state versus so. We are glad that we have Expo New Mexico as part of our Albuquerque community, and they've been doing a great job over the last few years. And a big part of that is being able to keep the Gathering of Nations here. And so thank you, everyone, for all your hard work in making this happen year in and year out. Lastly, let me just say, as mayor of Albuquerque, this is a nationally, if not internationally, renowned event. And so we often talk in Albuquerque about the challenges that we have to overcome, and also what makes us special. This is absolutely one of the things that makes Albuquerque special. And not to mention, it's a huge economic driver for our economy in a time of year usually when we need it. So April, too, is a little bit of a lull in terms of public events, and so we're excited that Gathering Nations is going to give us an economic boost as well. And so it does so much for our community, and also I think is a real standout for the rest of the country to see how we come together. Let me close with this. I've had a lot of connection to Indian country in my life. So I was fortunate enough actually to work for tribes for 6 years in the not too recent past. And so I got to see not only just about every reservation here and every pueblo here in New Mexico, but more importantly, the Gathering of Nations is heavily attended from tribes all around the country and internationally. And I remember the last time I went, I got to run into folks that I'd worked with from Seneca tribe, Yakima tribe, Seminole tribe. I spent over a year working with them. So it's great actually to reconnect with some folks too, right here in my hometown in Albuquerque. So I'm very, very proud to have the Gathering of Nations here. And so with that, we do have an official proclamation, which I think you guys have the fancy copy with the wax seal and everything, but I do want to officially state as mayor that there's a bunch of whereas clauses, but I think I touched on them. So I'm just going to say, now, therefore, I, Timothy M. Keller, Mayor of City of Albuquerque, do hereby proclaim the week of April 27th, 2018 as Gathering of Nations Week in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Thank you so much.